23rd, and it is 9 o'clock, and we will have our regular Board of County Commission meeting, and we'll call it to order. Please silence your phone. We'll have our invocation led by Commissioner Harvey, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Palatka.
Let us bow our heads. Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for today, a day we've never experienced before in our life. Father, let us make an investment in our young people, our community, our state, and our country today. Father, let us be productive citizens as you've called us to be, servants, to serve you and to serve our fellow man. Father, we thank you for this meeting today. We ask, Lord, that you just guide us with wisdom directly from your throne room. Impart it to us, Father. Let us make decisions based on wise counsel. And Father, as we move forward today, let everything be done decently in order. And we ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Please join me as we salute the country I love. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Going into the approval of the minutes.
Madam Chair, I move approval of the minutes stated in our packet.
Second.
All right. Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously.
Anonymously.
Oh, we're starting out great. Going into planning and development public hearing. First item up is rezone REZ 26-000004.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the record, Michael Graves, Planning and Development Services. This is again case REZ 26-000004. The applicant, the Julian C. Wood Revocable Living Trust, is requesting a zoning map amendment from Plan Unit Development to residential estate on 22.5 acres located at 229 East River Road, 131 Oak Haven Lane, and an adjoining unassigned location in East Palatka to allow the development of a single-family residence. Surrounding zonings include Plan Unit Development and residential estate. The subject site has a future land use designation of urban reserve, approximately 1,079 feet of road frontage on East River Road, and according to the National Wetlands Layer and FEMA Flood Zone Layer on the GIS reference map, the lands do appear to contain wetlands and is located in FEMA Flood Zone X, X500 AE, and AE. FEMA Flood Zone AE is a special flood hazard area. Should the applicant's request be approved, the applicant will then be eligible for obtaining all building and site work permits compatible with the RE zoning district. Here you can see an aerial overview of the site. Here you can see the future land use. Here you can see the zoning where the property is currently in the Plan Unit Development zoning district. Staff recommends approval of the request to amend the zoning map from Plan Unit Development to residential estate. Staff finds that the proposed rezoning is consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the adopted comprehensive plan and meets the locational requirements of the residential estate zoning district provided in the Land Development Code and Comprehensive Plan. At the May 13th, 2026 Planning Commission meeting, the Putnam County Planning Commission voted unanimously to recommend approval of the subject request. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions for staff?
No.
Commissioner Alexander, you're recognized.
Just a quick question on that one. At one time, were there some type of environmental restrictions on that regarding avian nesting or anything like that?
Not as far as staff were able to confirm. They would not be allowed to develop within the wetlands, of course, under still current existing environmental regulations.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to ask about that. It's not far from my house, and at one time I'd heard there was some type of environmental restriction on the property, so you weren't aware of any on it?
Not as far as staff could confirm.
Okay.
Any environmental regulations would be handled by the Department of Environmental Protection.
Good deal. All right. Thanks, man.
All right, this is a public hearing. Is there anybody in the public wishing to speak on this item? Please come forward. State your name and address for the record. Come up to the mic, sir. That's okay. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. You have to apologize, or I'm going to apologize because I'm not a very good speaker.
You'll be fine.
But anyway, my name is Stuart Lloyd. I live at 121 Magnolia Drive in Palmport,
Okay.
right off East River Drive. And one question I have, these signs were put up the beginning of May, like the 1st. I have pictures in my phone that I took on the 2nd because I wanted to come look at this. I wanted to come to this meeting.
Yes, sir.
Now, the question I have is, after about a week and a half, the signs were mowed down by the water lines. Mr. Alexander, I think you can probably verify that because you drive up and down that road. And they have not been put back up. I put them back up once, and they got mowed down again. So there have not been signs there since probably May 15th
Okay.
to notify anybody of this meeting. I don't know what the, what kind of criteria there is to meet that, but I think it should be available for everybody to know about.
Yes, sir.
And one other question is, I have a feeling, is this in any way, and I don't know if you can answer, is it any way associated with the 168 acres across the other side of East River Drive? No?
Wait,
Okay.
Ms. Reed, I'm sorry, I'll have you come up in just a second.
Okay.
But we'll get that question answered. Yeah, okay, do you have any comments, staff? Or to answer any questions?
Not at this time, no, ma'am,
Is
unless
it-
you had a question about his comments.
Okay, all right. Are there anybody, I forgot to ask this question, is there anybody on the board that has had ex parte communication?
I've had none.
I've had none.
None.
None? Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Mr. Matthews?
Madam Chair, may I ask staff a question?
Yeah,
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Reed
Mr.
Matthews, 115 North 2nd Street, Palatka, Florida. So, okay, well,
it's okay. It's
all
okay.
right, he's the one that asked the question.
Yes,
So
sir.
It's strictly for, so the 22.5 acres is the people that I just recently purchased the 2-acre piece. I was just going to be rezoned the 2-acre piece, but they said since it's already in the PUD, can we just go ahead and rezone it all at the same time to allow them to build in the future? So really, the only issue here is I'm going to build a single-family residence for me and my family on the northern 2-acre parcel.
Yes, sir.
We actually bought last week. The other 20.5 acres, there's currently one single-family residence on, and I believe it's their intention to build another single-family residence on it in the future, maybe others, but it's actually the opposite of development. We're taking it from a PUD, which could have a lot more intensive use, to just, I think, maybe 5 homes, but my issue is just the 1 home on the northern 2-acre parcel.
Okay, so to answer the question, is separate, completely separate from the 168 across the street?
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Is there anything else you wanted to add?
That's it.
All right, thank you for answering
ma'am.
those
Thank y'all.
questions. Commissioner Harvey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That was something I was going to ask staff. We're going from a PUD back to residential, so we're going to go from a more heavily intensive or possibly heavily intensive zoning district back down to a residential district that could be less intrusive. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. The residential development is going to be limited in this case by the, I believe it's urban reserve future land use designation. In addition to the zoning district that they are placing on the property being, is it residential estate, Michael? Residential estate. So it'll be further regulated by the zoning rather than the future land use in this case.
How many, on the PUD, the original PUD, when it was asked to, or applied for, what was the, what was
Density.
density on that? Yes, thank you, Madam Chair.
Michael, do you know the density?
Or allowable amount of homes?
The original underlying plan unit development, Riverbend Estates, would have allowed for 1,580 residential units across the entire development. The PUD has since expired, of course, and as such, no development may occur within the PUD without a rezone to a different zoning district or a new PUD being replaced over this one. There's also a section in our comprehensive plan that specifies that this area of Putnam County that was covered by the original PUD for Riverbend Estates shall never exceed 1,580 residential units, even with a new PUD placed on top of it.
Well, this is good for the community, no doubt about that. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, anybody else in the audience wishing to speak on this item? All right, we are being asked to, this is meeting 1 of 2. What is the
Madam
board?
Chair, I move that we hear this case again, REZ 00004, Julian C. Wood Revocable Living Trust on July 14th at 9 o'clock. That's our next Board of County Commission meeting.
I'll second that.
We have a motion second. Any further discussion? I would like to say that, could we have staff go back out and make sure we put signs back up?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Okay, thank you. All right, we have a motion second. Any further comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And we'll see this case again on July 14th. So it has to have two readings. Second up.
Good morning, Board. While it loads, for the record, Ethan Thompson. I am presenting a plat vacation, case numbers VAC 26-000001. All right. This is an application for a partial vacation of the St. John's Manor Acres Division 1 subdivision, which is in map book 3, page 139 of the public records of Putnam County. It was originally recorded May 25th, 1926. The applicant is Barbara F. Hall Family Trust, and then the trustees are Barbara Fogelman and Rachel Elliott. There's no 911 address. It is kind of located within the Cross Florida Greenway. As you'll see later, it's like 2 miles south of Hunter Road. It's zoned agriculture, and the future land use is agriculture as well. The subdivision was originally platted for 141 lots. Subject to the vacation today are approximately 36 full lots, as well as 14 portions of 14 additional lots. And then portions of the undeveloped rights-of-way within the legal description are also proposed to be vacated. The remainder of the subdivision is owned by the state of Florida and has already been incorporated into the Cross Florida Greenway. The overall plat contains approximately 412.5 acres. The applicants own portions of tracts 1 through 137, which consists of approximately 113 acres. We have some supporting comprehensive plan policies. Policy A.1.14.1.a says that Putnam County will reduce the number of platted lots by assisting private owners of platted lots within antiquated subdivisions with the vacation of plats, including the closing of unused public rights-of-way. Policy A.1.14.1.c encourages the public acquisition of platted lots, which have been identified as providing a public benefit by preserving environmentally sensitive lands. And then policy A.1.10.8.d is part of our MRAS policies. Putnam County shall encourage the public acquisition of land for conservation purposes to protect existing military installations from encroachment by incompatible uses. And then the relevant statute defines antiquated subdivisions. That's statute 163.3164, subparagraph 5. It's just a subdivision that was recorded or approved over 20 years ago and has substantially failed to develop. And then the continued build out of that subdivision in accordance with the subdivision zoning and land use purposes would cause an imbalance of land uses and would be detrimental to the local and regional economies and environment. This is the original subdivision plat from 1926. This is the portions of the subdivision that are proposed to be vacated. The red is kind of the overall legal description, and then the blue dots are the rights of way. This is your aerial, zoning, future land use, flood zone, wetlands, and then a portion of this property is encompassed within the military restricted operating zone. The applicant proposes to vacate a portion of the St. John's Manor Acres Division 1 platted subdivision. They are also proposing to vacate portions of the undeveloped rights-of-way contained within their legal description. If approved, the parcels technically would be subject to the design standards of the Ag Zoning District and density requirements of the Agriculture Future Land Use. However, this is for the purpose of sale to the Cross Florida Greenway, so there's no development occurring here. Staff recommends approval of the resolution to vacate that portion of the St. John's Manor Acres Division 1 subdivision plat contained within the submitted legal description as it is consistent with the statutory requirements for plat vacations outlined in statute 177.101, as well as Putnam County comprehensive plan policies identified herein. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions for staff? Is there anybody in the audience wishing to speak on this item? All right, coming back to the board, has there been any ex parte communication?
I have none.
I have none.
None.
None. All right, with that, what is the request of the board?
Madam Chair, I move approval of the resolution of the Board of County Commissioners for Putnam County vacating a portion of the recorded subdivision plat of St. John's Manor Acres Division 1, case number VAC 26-00001, Hall, resolution number 2026-046.
Second.
All right, any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Was that meeting 1 of 1?
Yes, that was 1 of 1. Thank you for asking. Public comment on agenda items. This portion of the agenda is designed to allow citizens an opportunity to bring matters to the attention of the board. It is not reasonable to expect that the board will engage in debate or deliberation about matters on which the board has received no prior information as part of the agenda. Please limit your time to 3 minutes. Public comment cards are conveniently placed at the meeting room entrance and should be submitted prior to the meeting to the deputy clerk who sits to the right of the podium. This is on agenda items. We will have also another public comment section on miscellaneous items. So is there anybody wishing to speak on agenda items? All right, seeing none, we'll go into commissioners' pulling items, starting with Commissioner Harvey.
I have none.
Commissioner Alexander.
I have none, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Newbold.
None to pull.
None to pull. Commissioner Pelletier.
None.
All right, I will be pulling item D as in dog and J.
Madam Chair, based on that, I'd like to move the consent agenda items A, B, C, E, F, G, H, I for approval, please.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further comments? All in favor say aye.
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 All right, going to item D, that is our insurance committee. I know we did go back. This board had previously asked to table it. It went back to the insurance committee. It was the majority of the insurance committee did agree and want this coming back for approval. I have the same comments and thoughts that I did before, and so I'm just going to say them, and then the vote ends up being how the vote is. One of my biggest concerns is the fact that we contract with a pharmaceutical benefit manager to control our costs and apply clinical rules. And basically, I feel like that we have people that are already signed up and they get a GLP-1. We have a couple hundred. They already get that. We've already approved the Wegovy pill, which is FDA approved through the People One. I feel like this process that we've created is circumventing the process that we've already paying somebody to do. Basically, we pay a benefit manager to control costs and apply clinical rules, and now we're allowing this third party to come behind that and approve it and basically circumvent the process. So there's no protections in place, and that bothers me. I feel like that this drug is the one that we're approving for our staff has been known to cause gallbladder disease, pancreatitis, and severe gastrointestinal issues that cause hospitalization. Nobody can say for sure that this is basically, to me, that the county is gambling on taxpayers' dollars. We are rolling the dice to see if this actually improves our employees' health. We don't know that it will. And also, I also feel like that we've just created a big open checkbook. Nobody can give me a price. We have not set a price on this other than it's $200 that we're allowing our employees to have up to 6 weeks for this shot. We're going to give them a $200 credit or pay for the $200. So there's no, it's just open-ended to me. It's an open-ended financial exposure without clear guardrails. We've completely, I'll give you an example. You got to remember when we vote on this isn't just the BOCC staff. It's all our constitutional officers, including the sheriff's office. If 150 people signed up and they need a shot every 6 weeks, that's a financial impact to this county of $260,000 a year. If 200 people receives a shot every 6 weeks, that's a financial impact of almost $350,000 a year for a drug that's not FDA approved. So it's an open-ended contract. We've not put, there's no cap on these funds, and that's one of the main issues I have with this, plus the fact that I also feel like it's an inequity, and it causes confusion for employees. There's unequal access. We haven't given everybody $200 off their medicine, only certain groups. It causes frustration for our staff. I think it's unfair, and the benefit system should be clear, consistent, and fair. I've talked about that the entire time. And if we want to cover these medications, then we should be doing it through our health plan and not going around our health plan that we're paying to do and through a side program. So I'm not in favor of this. But I've held my position on this the whole time, so the vote is what it is. Commissioner Harvey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I echo some of the same problems that you've had with this. I think the financial exposure is big to me. The non-FDA approved medication. I did happen to have, though, an opportunity to speak to an employee of the county who was unaware that the GLP product that People One had would be would serve their need. They were unaware that this was available. Also, another employee has stated publicly that People One is not interested, or at least one of the doctors not interested in these GLP products, and ask you to do other things. I think it's important to know that People One works for us, and we tell them what to do, not the other way around. And if they can't do that, then we'll find another provider that will do that. And I don't mean that threatening. I'm just saying we're trying to lower a potential risk right here. I don't think this is the best idea. I stood my ground on the first meeting about trying to include all employees who were having issues with trying to pay. When I talked to the person who said they were unaware that this pill was available, they said they couldn't afford it, even if it was. So if it's a financial situation, I can handle that. I can say we can put a cap, we can put 100,000, we can put 125, we can put 200, whatever the number is, but let's get these people some help. But it's going to come down to, could that employee spend $300 a month? No. Can they spend 100? Yes, and we pay 200. But what about the employee that can't pay even the 100 a month? And that's where I fall down at. So I think if we're going to open this up, and I think we should try to do something for all the employees, and maybe this is a start, because I've been promised that this is a start and we're going to go down this road and look at others, but maybe we should look at some type of a cap, maybe some type of a participation, and maybe some type of a, I can't afford any of my medicines, and I need help with all that. And maybe that's where we need to be looking at, instead of focusing on just GLP-1. If we're going to focus on getting our employees better, then let's focus on how to engage them financially to do such a thing. I think honestly, at this point, I'm going to probably go for this because I do believe it's a start. But we've got to be able to open this up, and we've got to be able to put a cap, and we've got to be able to say to our employees, if you can't afford it, we're going to try to help you get better. Because the whole conversation in the insurance committee was avoiding cost in the future. It was trying to avoid that cost going forward. Well, if the employee who can't pay $300 and can't pay $100, then we're just waiting for a risk to happen that we know is going to happen. And I would like for us to at least have that conversation, if we can, of opening that up to helping all of our employees take better care of themselves. And if they can't afford their medication, let's help them do that. And let's get them to People One first, take the pill if they can, and if they choose elsewhere, then let's that be on them, and then maybe there's some participation on our end. Those are my comments, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Newbold, you're recognized.
Thank you. Two very important things brought up in the discussion here with our chair lady and Commissioner Harvey. I think I like this program. It steps in the right direction. I think it is basically, the GLP subject is a hot topic. There's a lot of misinformation out there about it. In the end, we want to have healthier employees. We want to be able to retain those employees. But this puts people on a path to saving the county money and making employees more healthy. Those are two very valuable topics, very valuable subjects to attack. It is a bit open-ended. I wouldn't be opposed to trying to incorporate some sort of cap. You know, this program is going to be have medical oversight. I think it will, as it gets enacted, it will police itself. Folks who are not don't have positive effects with this particular drug will come off of it because they have skin in the game. It's costly. The potential upside is tremendous as far as health of employees and retention. I like that it opens up the idea of looking at other drugs and finding ways to include more employees in an overall program. So I'm going to be in favor of this and hope that it pushes us in into a bigger subject. So, thank you.
Commissioner Alexander, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a very difficult topic for me. And I appreciate the research that you've done and bringing all those valid points, because you educate us as a commission on what the potential fallout is, the potential health detriments that may happen to some of those folks that use the product, and the fiscal impact that it's going to have on us as a county. You know, my big thing is being responsible with the county's dollars, and you know, we're talking about a $200,000 or $300,000 impact potentially per year. That's one side of the coin, but then you look at the other side. If you take someone that is a potential diabetic that could turn fully diabetic and go to the point where they become an amputee, or they have other health issues that are associated with that, what's the long-term savings and what's the end game? So, and the other thing I have is potentially depriving our hardworking employees of the quality of life that they may have should this option work for them. So I have not made my mind up on this, but those are the things I'm considering. You know, is it worthwhile long-term for the health benefits of our employees and the short-term quality of life? And is the cost going to be negated by those long-term health benefits from the weight loss, from the potential diabetics? So I'm still in the middle on this one.
Commissioner Palatka, you're recognized.
You're right, Commissioner Alexander. It's a tough one. It's a very tough one. What is someone's health worth? You know, there is no dollar value for that. You know, but there on the other side, I have to err with the Commissioner Wilkerson about the cost and how much, you know, what can the county stand, especially with our future very uncertain as we move into the next fiscal year. This is definitely a struggle, and I'm having a tough time right now myself. Thank you.
All right, is there a motion from the board?
I'm going to move to approve item D.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, you have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? I will just simply say that if we're really worried about health benefits, then I think we have to also consider the amount of employees that we have that don't have insurance. And if they simply had that extra $200, maybe they would have insurance. So I go back to that. I go back to the fact that this is an open-ended financial exposure without clear guardrails. We are just opening Pandora's box. We haven't put a number on this. We have nobody can even estimate how many people can potentially sign up for this, and so I have that huge problem. So those are my comments. Commissioner Palatka, you're recognized
Do we have
in debate.
Pardon?
We're in debate. Go ahead.
Do we have any information of how many people potentially would be taking advantage of this if it were offered?
Been asking that since we started. Nobody can give me that answer. All right, Commissioner Alexander, you're recognized.
That would definitely make an impact on the decision. But as you say, is there the option to cap the spending on this for a probationary period of a year to see what type of impact it has and how many people sign up? Can we amend a motion such as that?
Yes, sir.
To include that?
Mhm.
Would the rest of the commissioners be open to that?
I would, absolutely. A test season, if you will.
Yes, I'd like to go for a test drive before I buy any car.
Commissioner Harvey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That was going to be one of my asks to the sponsor of the motion would you be willing to amend your motion to include some type of a longevity and a cap on it, possibly, we're in the fiscal year now, it ends September. I also fully support your idea too, that this isn't just, this is a couple cans we need to monitor and not kick down the road. If there's somebody out there that's getting $200 a month or a treatment, but yet if they were what you said, could afford insurance, well, we need to have that conversation too. And that's something we need to have. So would our sponsor of the motion be willing to say for a certain period and put a cap of a certain dollar amount? Thank you, Madam Chair.
I'd certainly be willing. I think it's a little compromise in order to move us in what I feel like is the right direction. Be happy to do that. I'm not sure what the most appropriate and effective would be. I'm happy with a time period and or dollar or employee count figure. I'm not sure what's most appropriate. Any commentary from staff or suggestions? Nope. Okay.
Staff is unclear what the board is trying to accomplish. I don't know how we're going to project for you a hypothetical. You guys need to set the parameters as to what the board's comfortable with, and we'll
Okay.
report it back to the insurance committee and to the staff.
Okay. I'd be willing to amend the motion to have it a 1-year time period. I'm not sure how we ought how to, as opposed to employee count, I'd say maybe we put a dollar figure on it of $275,000. I have no idea, where that gets us or what that does. Any thoughts from the balance of the team?
Well, you know my thoughts. My
Well, I
thoughts
do.
is, I'm out.
No.
Commissioner Alexander, you're recognized.
I appreciate your concession, Commissioner Newbold. I feel that may be a little bit higher than what I would be comfortable with, but will we be able to track in some form or fashion? Obviously, we'll be able to track how many people sign up, but is there any type of metric that we could gauge potentially as the impact health-wise on any of these folks, or are we limited by HIPAA as what we can discuss, or? Because we need some type of matrix to determine whether it's effective and whether the investment is worth what we're doing. Because I know that there are people that are going to benefit from it, but there's a lot of things we could benefit. I can hand everybody $10,000. We're all going to benefit from it, but at the end of the day, is it a worthwhile expenditure of our county funds? So I would like to know that it is having an effect and it's worthwhile in the investment. So. I mean, it's a complex question, obviously.
So I have not had that direct conversation with the private provider that we had discussed. I know, I do not know what people wants. I know that the insurance committee, when this topic was up for discussion, voted to amend the original intent to include the People One program and have a cooperative cost shared there too. In the private provider conversation, she discussed at length that her monitoring would require routine visits and monitoring to make sure that they were moving in the right direction. So she's going to have the metrics. Whether or not HIPAA is going to allow me to share that with the insurance committee and or the Board of County Commissioners, that's a question I'm going to have to ask her. Obviously, we're going to track it from a payee standpoint. However, I do not know that People One has any sort of same type of monitoring with their program. So I do not know that I would get the same data back from People One.
Okay. All right, I'm in favor of it, potentially, but I'm hoping that we can find some way to gauge whether the program is a success, to continue it, especially with the impact that we may feel soon with the tax reduction, so I'm good.
All right, I think if you're gonna monitor that, you also should monitor the amount of people that have to go in the hospital for taking the medicine. Commissioner Harvey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, for staff, the insurance committee spoke about People One and their engagement, and what I just heard you say, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that they might now be able to track the way this other Dr. Rigdon might be able to track. But truly, they can say that 14 people walked in the door that were pre-diabetic or whatever. There's a trigger there of some diabetic, and I don't understand that one completely, but they can say 14 people walked in and are being treated with the Wyogi pill, whatever that. I don't understand all that. So they could give us some metrics of that. I guess my question is, how is this money going to be distributed? Is it going to be distributed to People One and to Dr. Rigdon, or is it going to be distributed to the employee after they prove that they went through and they bought their medicine? Do they come and present a receipt at that point?
So the established a relationship with a private provider, Dr. Rigdon, was that the county would pay our portion, the employee would pay their portion. People One and our administrative team has not been able to coordinate on the logistics of what their program would be, although it would be my preference to mirror it in the same fashion.
So I think in all fairness, I think a cap needs to be placed. That 275 seemed a little high to me, because I think that the insurance committee can always come back to this board and say, we've had success or we haven't had success. That's something that I think we need to know quite frequently, more frequently than others. But I think 275 might be a little high.
Well, somebody give
Yeah,
a suggestion.
I'm fine
He's just
I'm
throwing
fine
out-
to drop it to 175, and I mean, this is a start. It's a trial, and we can always move that number up or down. So I would change my amended
You
motion to show 175.
All right, we have a motion on the floor.
Well, I'll amend my second. So if I'm hearing correctly, it's a 175,000 cap for a 1-year period starting from, would you say July 1, maybe?
Is it fiscal year? How is that where we
You can
sit?
say July 1 if you want.
We could go July 1.
Okay, July 1 to June 30th of 2027.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. I'll amend my second.
We have a motion on the floor and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No, opposed. I'm so used to saying aye, opposed. 4-1, motion carries 4-1. All right, item number J, just want to talk about that real briefly. So does Parks and Rec, and this is for staff, does Parks and Rec still utilize the office space at South Putnam Church?
Yes, we do.
Is it still cost the county $200 a month?
Currently, it does.
Okay, all right. And then, So on our cover letter in our agenda packet, it says these funds would go towards, and they're the discretionary funds from 2 commissioners, would go towards the flooring. I did a little research on this. It looked like the pastor was saying they were trying to raise about $100,000. And I also, in my research, realized that the amount of use that we do use for our parks and recs at this facility, so I don't necessarily have an issue with that. But on our memorandum of understanding that's presented to us, it is, to me, not clear. Under Section 2, Financial Considerations, it says the SPC will be responsible for the maintenance of the facility in lieu of rent or lease payments. The county will expend up to $50,000 in capital improvements to the facility. Again, I think this is open-ended. It doesn't say a one-time. It doesn't say annually. So sometimes in an agreement, it's not what it says, but what it doesn't say. And what this doesn't say is that it's a one-time or that it's particular for the flooring. So I need clarity on that. Mr. Commander, do you want to speak up about this subject?
I mean, from the legal side, I don't want to weigh in on whether or not it's a good or bad idea. As far as if you want to see some further restrictions on kind of what the expectations are, that's always a good thing to include in a contract.
Did you prepare this?
No, it was sent to me for review.
Okay. So again, it's not that I have a concern about the current staff or the current church, but in 10 years from now, because this contract goes into 2046, so it's a 20-year term. 10 years from now, none of us sitting here, and the next group comes up, and then you get a church comes up and says, well, you're supposed to be giving us $50,000 a year. It doesn't say it's not a yearly thing. I understand the intent, but I don't think the intent is clearly written in this agreement. Commissioner Harvey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for pointing that out. I think we can amend that very simply today by saying the $50,000 is a one-time payment and not to be, not to be counted on anymore, frankly. I think South Putnam needs this, and with the amount of children that participate there, but I think we can fix that pretty easily right now.
Mr. Suggs, did you have some comment?
Madam Chair, I don't know that what was contemplated was a one-time payment.
Okay,
I mean,
well, that's the way I read it, so let's talk about that. That's great if that's not a one-time payment, because
Well, I
we
mean,
need to understand our financial obligation here.
It's a one-time payment to redo the floor.
Yeah, and I think it was my intention, I'm being one of the
Yes, sir?
commissioners participating with funds, and it is specifically intended to be for the renovation of the floor, and it is a one-time payment. So I think that should be stated clearly, and
Right.
I'm glad you caught that.
Okay.
You asked me if I had any questions or comments, Madam Chair, and I was just reading through the lease itself, and under the item 3, duration, it talks about if SPC wishes to cancel this MOU during the initial term of the MOU, then SPC agrees to pay to the county a prorated portion of the investment made to the facility, which is the $50,000 for the floor. The total investment of $50,000 shall be prorated and repaid proportionally to the period of the time remaining on the MOU. So I think it's, to me, we've got a quote, I believe it was, to do the repair of the floor. This was the cost of the floor. This is our initial investment of $50,000 to offset the cost of that repair and maintenance of that floor. And I think that paragraph, to me, and I'm not the attorney by no stretch, but it sounds like it's covered in that paragraph that it's a $50,000 investment to be paid back proportionally if this lease is, or if this MOU is not taking the term.
Yeah, I think it is important that we have this MOU in place. It
I
formalizes that
agree.
relationship specifically, but I thank you for pointing out the necessity to more clearly define the one-time nature and specific use of the funds.
I still have the floor, so give me just a second. I have one more question. Under item 1, roles and responsibility, it says the SPC will grant written legal authority to the county to use the facility for for the purpose of providing recreational use of the facility. Is this MOU the legal authority, or will there'll be another document, because it says grant written legal authority?
So I think this serves as the preliminary legal authority. However, if there are certain events or things that require an additional document, I would imagine over the period of the first term or subsequent terms, there could be other documents that do that.
Okay,
So if
all right.
there's a specific event, like if you're having summer camp or vacation Bible school, they may want to have certain clarified understandings for those events.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Commissioner Alexander, you're recognized.
Yeah, I appreciate you pointing that out, Madam Chair. Sometimes when I read through some of these documents, they leave it a little vague and leave it open for question. It would be much easier if it was spelled out specifically. This is a one-time payment for this specific purpose, and we're done with it, and we move on. That way, there's no opportunity for discussion or
Yeah, again,
later
it's
clarification.
not this group I'm worried about, but 10 years from now.
Exactly, exactly. And, you know, we had an issue pop up about that a couple weeks ago on something else. And, I mean, we're not all attorneys. Rich is, he understands some of this stuff. But to me, it's got to be black and white. It's got to be hard and fast, and that's the way it is. There's no questions.
Commissioner Harvey, you recognized.
Madam Chair, I appreciate the opportunity and also want to say I agree with all the things we can clean this up. And I think, my question is, the South Putnam Church realize that they have a 20-year that they have to pay this back if they, you know, don't want us in there anymore?
Yes, she's saying yes. All right, is there a motion on this?
I would move for approval with the changes stipulated.
Second.
And just for clarification, that change is just to clarify that it's a one-time payment.
Yes,
And it's specifically for floor renovation.
all right. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Is there any new business from any of the commissioners?
Madam Chair, can I take a point of privilege?
Sure.
Can you get your mom back in here, Mr.
Oh.
Alexander?
Maybe.
I wanted to make an announcement with her, and I know she was in a hurry, but if you don't mind, I could do it under new business. I'm sorry, Madam Chair.
It's all right. Are there any other commissioners that are going to wish to have new business items? All right. While we're doing that, we will have public comment on miscellaneous items, so if you haven't done so, please fill out a blue card and turn it into Miss Ashley. We will go into that as soon as we can finish new business. Do you have any cards you want to go ahead and give me?
Madam Chair, our timer's not.
Oh, it's okay. I guess you'll have to beep from up here.
I can do it.
We'll take a 2-minute recess.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just wanted to, I was hoping Ms. Simons would be back in the audience, but she didn't make it back in, but that's okay. You know, basically the mayor of pickleball for Putnam County, and she wore us out for years about getting pickleball started, to the point where I was like, you know, just give her whatever she wants, right? But it's exciting because some of my capital improvement money that I've had, I confirmed with Julianne in the last couple of weeks, and we were crunching numbers, and she's been so patient with me, even though she wanted not to be at times, I'm sure. But we're going to put a pickleball court in Flora Home. And, you know, this is exciting for me. We've been working on this for ever since we got our funds, and it's just been a long time coming. But very, very soon, we're going to have a groundbreaking out there, and we'll have a pickleball court located in the beautiful community of Flora Home. So just want to let you know that.
All right,
Thank you.
that's exciting.
All right.
Yeah, it is exciting. Thank you.
Commissioner Alexander, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. What I wanted to discuss with you guys, it's my understanding, if we create an ordinance, then I need to discuss it with you first and then bring a formal reading of the ordinance to the next meeting, and then should we move forward, the second meeting after that will be the finalization and implementation of that. So you guys know that I've been heavily involved with Duns Creek State Park, and I spend maybe a day or two a month on the river, so I'm pretty familiar with it. And throughout the years, there's been an issue at Duns Creek, what we've affectionately referred to as the goat farm, but there's a blind corner there. Very dangerous, and we have a kayak launch, and we have additional development expected there at Duns Creek State Park. So instead of waiting on an accident to happen, what I wanted to do was get ahead of the curve. And I did a little research, and, you know, typically you get some pushback from the power boaters because that's what I am. You know, I'm not a sailboater, I'm not a kayaker. Too lazy for all that. But nobody really wants to slow their boats down on the river. So I approached some of the bass folks, some of the tournament fishermen that I discussed with this, and they understood the need for something there, but their greatest fear was rampant no-wake zones throughout Putnam County, and they were all dead set against that. And I was too. I agree 100%. But they also understood the need for some type of traffic mitigation there, because we have a lot of new boaters on the river, a lot of people that don't have experience, compounded by the fact that you have a kayak launch there. So it's a perfect storm of danger. So the ordinance that I'm proposing will be specifically for that area. It's the shortest duration that I felt was safe and still allowed the tournament fishermen not to be slowed down there for a long period of time. So they could get down off a plane, get around the corner where they could see again and get back up and gone, and not impact the kayakers that are launching from that area. Well, the question was, how are you going to prevent additional no-wake zones being implemented throughout the county? I said, well, what we're going to do is we're going to tie it into that being the only handicap kayak launch in the county. So that is specifically written into the ordinance to protect those people that did not want to see any other no-wake zones throughout the county, but it still has the effect of creating a safe zone there for both the kayakers and the boaters. So that is my goal and my wish, and I will bring a formal proposal to you guys next week with documentation of the zone that we're proposing, as well as pictures depicting how dangerous that corner can be from different angles.
Okay, are there any questions for Commissioner Alexander? I would just like to say, if you're going to do, I know you said you were going to be bringing pictures and information. I'd like to see the length and the width of the area you're referring to.
Absolutely.
On
I've
the
got it
river.
mapped out with GPS coordinates and highlighted on the map for you.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Harvey, you recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think it's a great idea. I think anytime that we can protect the handicapped who want to enjoy our nature, and you're only asking for a little bit of feet to slow the boat down and get back up on plane later on, I think that's common sense, and I think that's courtesy. Number one, I wish we wouldn't have to put signs out. I wish you just understand that, but I understand the need for that, so I appreciate your efforts on that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I don't know if Terry or Mr. Commando wants to weigh in on this. When we do an ordinance like that, what is the public hearing notices and requirements? Do you have to, like, put it in the newspaper? How many days does it have to be out? Or have so many public meetings?
It's the same public notice that we provide for an ordinance, so we'll bring it back for just like you had first reading today, because it's a text amendment to your code, and then we'll also have a second reading for final adoption.
Okay, so it'd be like we do with the rest of the other public hearings. So it'd just be 2 readings.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
And I'll have everything spelled out for you guys. I want it nice and clear and concise, so.
sure. And that'll be the first meeting in July you're proposing is what
Yes,
you're going
ma'am.
to do that? Okay. All right. Anything else on commissioner updates or any comments on that? All right, going into a point. Yes? Okay, I'm sorry.
I have something that I would like to share, a couple things before we get to commissioner comments. I was going to do it under there, but seems probably fitting under new business. The governor of Florida is giving off for a long weekend in July, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we're giving off, our county is closed on the 3rd of July. Is that correct? So the governor is, I think, adding the 2nd and, there's the 2nd and the 6th. So I would really like for us to consider, we don't have another meeting until after that, but giving our employees maybe off on the 6th. July 4th is on a Saturday, and giving off on the 6th so they can have a long weekend, a 4-day weekend. And that's my proposal, Madam Chair.
All right. I do have a question on that. And this is for staff, if an employee is already taking a vacation on the 6th, how does that work? They get their 8 hours back?
That's correct.
Right. So essentially, it's a double hit to the county because you're paying them they get their vacation pay and they get off for the day. So
No, they swap out for one another. So they're not gonna get paid their vacation day and they're gonna get the day off.
they get paid to be off,
Correct.
Get the credit
and they
back.
get their credit back for their 8 hours of vacation that they would have otherwise used.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, it's just as if they didn't use it.
Right. All right, so the proposal is a long weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Correct.
All right, are you making a motion?
I made a motion.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 No discussion.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, debate. Any discussion? Go back to discussion. Debate. Go ahead.
You want me to hit it or not?
Go ahead.
I just want to be sure that the county and Public Works, that area is going to be covered in the case of an emergency. You know, we're going to have,
Yes, sir. We'll have on-call staff, just like normal, just like any other normal holiday.
okay.
And then the waste facility, the landfill's already closed on Mondays?
No, ma'am, Mr. Tilton will handle that just like every other holiday schedule.
Okay, every other holiday schedule, we've already done noticing. So how will we are at a short window for noticing.
We will
our
make sure that notice gets out today.
to the constituents.
The Mr. Tilton, will come on up, Mr. Tilton, because I believe you're going to have to run your normal schedule. So go ahead and,
And Madam Chair, I think Commissioner Harvey already brought it up, but this is not just for the 4th of July. This is the commemoration of the 250th anniversary of the country.
So we're actually not off on Friday. The landfill's actually only closed on Saturday. So my proposed landfill would still be open on that Monday.
All right,
Yeah, to stay with the schedule.
all right.
Mr. Commando, you said this would be in special recognition of our 250th anniversary?
Yes, sir. So this was not meant to just be because of 4th of
Right.
July coming up. It was specifically because of the commemoration of the 250th anniversary of the country, as a special recognition, just so the public doesn't think this is not something that I think the governor's office was intending to do year after year. This was
Right.
just a one-time for that.
Thank you for that clarity.
Thank you for
I
those
think it's a
comments.
great thing, honoring our country.
All right, thank you. Yes, sir. All right, any further discussion? All right, have a motion on the floor in a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Appointments. Commissioner Alexander, do you have any appointments?
I have none.
Commissioner Newbold.
Yes, I have one for District 1 Zoning Board of Adjustments. Have a recent vacancy and would like to put forward Frank L. Murray of Crescent City.
Okay, he doesn't need a vote on that, does he? All right. Commissioner Harvey, do you have any appointments?
I have none, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Pelletier?
I have none.
All right. Going into public comment on miscellaneous items, we have Joshua Kent.
Good afternoon. My name is Josh Kent. I'm the newly appointed Vice President of the Georgetown Cove Property Owners Association.
Okay.
And I come here humbly before you guys to just ask you for some help with our neighborhood. We have a lot of stormwater runoff problems, not only within our subdivision, but the subdivisions to our north. We are right on the north boundary of the lake. We have a lot of ditches that could use some cleaning. We need some road work. We could use some gravel. I'm just asking for some help. That's what I'm up here trying to do, just try to see what help you guys can give us.
Sure, sure. Are you in, that's your district, Commissioner Newbold?
It is.
Okay, have you worked with Commissioner Newbold?
No,
Okay.
I was just newly appointed, and my first time here at the meeting. I just wanted to come up and introduce myself, and I'd love to sit and chat with you if we can, get some public
Absolutely.
works time in, maybe,
Yep.
do something.
I'll get a card and come see you, and we'll.
Absolutely. Maybe some help with some code enforcement. That's what I'm asking for.
All right.
So, we'll see you after the meeting.
The first
Absolutely.
go at it is to speak with Commissioner Newbold and see what he can help you with.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Mr. Grimes, you're recognized.
Yeah, it may be prudent, it probably needs to meet Public Works as well, because we've crossed the bridge with the Georgetown Cove. That's one of those subdivisions that was given way back when, but the county did not accept the maintenance plat.
Okay?
We had issues several years back. A gentleman came in, wanted the ditches in Georgetown Cove cleaned. We researched it, found out the county did not accept the maintenance map or the maintenance of those. They're all Class 2 plat roads, just like we just dealt with Chimera Way. It's in the same situation as all of those. So I just want to let you guys know that that we've already done Georgetown Cove. We'd be happy to sit down and see if there's anything we can do, but just so you know that is a unmaintained county platted road in an antiquated subdivision. So just wanted to let the board know, but we'll be happy to sit down and talk.
We understand. I'm just asking for any help I can get.
Sure.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Kent. Ms. Jenny Oakwood, you're recognized. Come on up. Now, Ms. Jenny, I love you, and I know that you're a talker.
I like the way you started that.
I appreciate you being here today. I know this isn't an easy discussion.
I'm here today because I firmly believe that Putnam County has several critical issues that must be addressed regarding education, public safety, enforcement, animal welfare that are deeply interconnected. I am wearing black for grieving and red for a broken heart. Some of you do not know me. I own Crescent City Kennel. Ark Animal Rescue is the headquarters. I have 32 years of healthcare experience, and 25 of those years were director level. I was 17 years of a college professor and 15 years in the pet industry and rescue. Facts about Putnam: 827 square miles. In 2024, we had 76,000, and 25, 77,000. We have 10,000 students in 19 public schools in 2025 from K to 12. 71% of those are economically disadvantaged. We only have 14% in this county with bachelor's degrees between 25 and older, 4% postgraduate degrees. Statewide average is 34.1%. Barriers: lack of parent involvement or student engagement. I just found out that field trips are funded by grants. I don't understand that. I have spoken to the school board many times about changing curriculum, and that has never happened. And there's no college day field trips to our wonderful St. John's College Community College. I have been several years volunteering as a guest speaker at local high schools, and my husband, with 35 years of teaching from South Florida, taught at the high school in Crescent City and was appalled about education. For the past 15 years, I observed considerable failure to meet basic welfare standards in Putnam County. Rescue groups and private citizens are emotionally, physically, and stressed with financial burdens in regards to the amount of abandoned, neglected, abused dogs and cats, as well as farm animals. Nobody cared in this county that the only humane society closed back in November 2025, and I was on the board, and it was the saddest day for me that day when all those animals, and we closed the door. Northeast Florida Humane Society even had a spay and neuter trailer on their premises and worked very closely with animal control of Putnam County. Humane societies around us are Volusia has 4, Flagler 2, St. John's 2, Clay 3, Marion 4. And we responding to the reckless community pleas for the past decade in reference to animal control. Finally, we got a new shelter, but what is the role of the new executive director of human support, community support? We have had no Putnam County Animal Service Advisory Committee meetings in 2026. So we have no idea, the public has no idea how many dogs or cats you're putting to sleep, how many animals were transferred in and out, how many dog bites were investigated, the list goes on. Our county lacks a clear commitment to all these things that I mentioned, and including neglected, abused, and abandoned animal. I compare ourselves to other counties. We are the hole in the donut. We go merry-go-round, merry-go-round, and I'm extremely dizzy and nauseated. Despite my dedicated countless hours going to festival, networking events.
Miss Jenny, I appreciate your time, but you have exceeded your time limit.
Well,
Miss Jenny.
I am sad to say that we are no longer going to be doing spay and neuter, and you can check your email information.
Yes,
Thank you
ma'am.
very much and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
We did receive an email last night from Miss Jenny, if everybody would like to take a look at that. It basically says, effective July 15th, ARC will no longer provide spay and neuter procedures in its mobile clinic. So there will have to be further discussion about how we will handle that in the mobile unit that we helped fund. Ms. Young, you're recognized.
Just for clarity, want to clarify, Animal Services has had meetings in 2026. We had a meeting in February. I believe Ms. Jenny wasn't available to attend. We did not have a quorum due to committee schedules at the last meeting, but they've asked to reschedule it. So in the February meeting was a very great discussion of the committee members. A lot of input had during that meeting, and we look forward to continuing that conversation at our next meeting.
Yes, ma'am, and I do believe numbers are always available whenever they're requested. Of course, it's a public record. Commissioner Alexander, you're recognized.
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to take a point of privilege here to stand up, and I'm not going to stand up, but our animal control team is doing a fantastic job. Since I've been on this board, and I'm not taking credit for anything, we've finished the facility. Staff took care of doing that through the help of the commissioners. The new executive director, I truly believe, is doing a fantastic job. We have other programs that we are working on now that have not been publicized, but Mrs. Young and I and members of the community are working with grants, acquisition of grants, grant writing. Our food costs have been decreased. Our animal safety has gone up. Our response time has been decreased. We've added 3 additional positions. So we are moving in the right direction. This is not something that's going to change overnight. But through a concerted effort of our staff and the team that we've got out there, we're making changes and moving in the right direction. It's unfortunate that I see somewhat of excuse me, I'm going to leave that comment alone, but I truly believe our staff is moving in the right direction, and I think that our community can see that, and I know that our commissioners can see that. So staff, you guys are doing a great job, and we appreciate you.
Commissioner Palatka, you're recognized.
I appreciate the lady's passion about the animals, but I served on this board from 2012 to 16 and now since 24. And I can tell you the improvements in animal services is tremendous. And that's probably barely touching the tip of the bird compared to what it used to be. So I think we're going in the right direction and in leaps and bounds. And I'm sorry that the lady feels that way, but it has come a long way, baby, as they say.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Commissioner Newbold, you're recognized.
I have to pile on with the praise. I mean, if you review today's consent agenda, there was a considerable sum of money committed by the county to further improve the state of animals in the shelter. We're actively working to revamp our codes, docket of codes and enforcement in that animal services space. So, I mean, there's been a lot that's happened in the last year, and there's a lot more to come, improvement in that space. So, thank y'all.
Thank you. Commissioner Harvey, you recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I want to echo the same sentiments. When I first got here, I served with Commissioner Palatka, and you know, we had a wish of what animal control would look like in the future, and we're getting there. We're right there, close to the finish line. Will we ever get across? I don't know that, but I'll say this: we're closer than we've ever been. I've been accused of not wanting spade and neuter, and I don't understand how that can ever come out of my mouth or be in conversation. I support that. I just don't support taking people's money and making people do it. That's what I don't support. I've even offered to spay and neuter some of the animals in my neighborhood. You've heard me mention Frank the cat, you know, but the owner of Frank the cat doesn't want their animal to be spayed and neutered, you know, but Frank doesn't know that, so he's out visiting all the other cats. It's just the bottom line is, you know, it's time for take personal responsibility. But I will say, when you have other counties coming to Putnam County to see what we do in the animal services arena, that's a big step. And when you talk about vet tech programs with the Sheriff's Department, you talk about additional staff, you talk about UF working with them, we've come a long way. And I agree with Commissioner Palatka, we've come a long way, baby. And I tell you, we're not there yet, but we are getting to the finish line, and I look forward to that day. That really, truly, personal responsibility takes hold. Government's not asked to do it all, and we have an animal service that people envy to have, and we have it currently. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And I follow up with my colleagues and agree with everything that they've said. We have made a lot of steps in the time I've been here, and it's been rewarding to see how each commissioner has taken on a responsibility with animal services. And we can't talk among each other until we're up here, but I hear, you know, like you said, Commissioner, you're working on some things. Commissioner Newbold's working on some things. And everybody's working to try to move that group forward. And we cannot pick up every animal in Putnam County. We can't. We can't feed every animal in Putnam County. We can't do that for every human in Putnam County. But at the end of the day, I think we have to remember that we are the gatekeeper for the taxpayers' dollars, and we have to spend them wisely, and we have to use them appropriately. And we have, thanks to an appropriation from the state, we were able to put in the facility that we did, and I mentioned it before. A neighboring county spent 20 times more money than we did on our animal facility. So we have come a long way, baby, and we're going to keep that term. Thank you, Commissioner Palatka. But that is absolutely right. Can we get everything? We're not ever going to make everybody happy, but I'm telling you, where we were and where we are is like night and day, and we have come a long way. And I want to say thank you to our staff. We are working, like Commissioner Harvey, he touched on some highlights. We're working with the University of Florida. We're getting more animals spayed and neutered. We are getting more animals adopted. Several times up here, I've mentioned some numbers. Again, all those numbers are available. I know people call and get them all the time. It's not that hard. Send a text, not a text, but send an email or a phone call, and we'll get you the information. And I'm sorry Miss Jenny feels that way. I know she's passionate about animals. I'm also sorry that the spay and neuter trailer is not going to work out. That's disappointing, and on so many levels. And we'll just have to figure out how we're going to handle that going forward. Mr. Suggs, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That was my question with the comment that was made by Ms. Jenny about giving the county the spay and neuter trailer. I didn't know if there was any direction the board would like to give staff here today, because I know that's going to be a question from staff. So, I think that's something that we probably need to discuss, and I don't know if we can have that discussion today, but.
Well, we'll discuss it briefly. She's asked in her email, which is also public record, that was sent out yesterday evening after 5. I'm trying to pull up the time. Anyway, she's asked that we schedule a meeting with one of us. She says me. I don't know if did everybody get this? Yes, everybody got this. Just schedule a meeting with a looks like a designee and probably a county commissioner to discuss further details on the next steps. So we can do that. Is there anybody that's on this commission that wants to handle this, or as far as a commissioner that wants to volunteer? Commissioner Alexander, your light is lit.
That means he wants to volunteer.
Does that mean you're volunteering, or is that something you, or?
I think we're going to have to draw straws on this one. We have uniform support, but we do have a member of our community that has they did make a significant donation to that trailer, and they're very interested in what happens to it. And after communicating with them, they would like to see it go to the county. And they're excited about that, as long as it's used and we get some use out of it for what it was intended to. So I just want to make everybody aware of that.
Okay, I'll be glad to sit in the meeting. I'll be glad to sit in the meeting and handle that with, I guess, Julianne, you would be our other county representative. So if we want to schedule something with Miss Jenny, we can do that. Is everybody okay with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, moving into comments. Mr. Reynolds is not here. County Attorney Commando.
Nothing further. Thank you.
County Administrator Suggs.
Just two real quick, just let you all know that your equipment auction went live today, and it will run through July 7th. So just letting you know we're moving forward on that. And
What was that? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
the equipment auction.
Auction.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. It started today and runs through July 7th. And then the only other comment is I will see you 5 in a couple hours in our mandatory ethics class, and we're all excited about that. So thank you, ma'am.
All right. Commissioner comments, starting with Commissioner Harvey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just one item. Every one of you received a letter from Kevin Charborough representing people on Kirby Lane at the boat ramp. If you don't know where Kirby Lane is, it's 315 north past Grandin, about 2 miles down on the left-hand side. Kirby Lane goes back there. We have a 50 or 40 acre clay pit that's been abandoned on Kirby Lane on the north side. We maintain the road all the way up to the boat ramp. I've offered to Kevin to meet with the citizens that are concerned. The more concerned right now is that the water has went out so bad that the people that are using the lake are out actually walking on private property onto other people's property. I don't know how we assign that, but I think we can find compromise. So I just want to let the board know that we are working with the people out there, and I have asked to schedule a meeting to see. I'm not in favor of closing down recreational points along Putnam County, but if there's something we can do to enhance that or clean that area up, then I'm all willing to do that. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Alexander, you're recognized.
No comments today.
All right, Commissioner Newbold.
I'd just like to wish everybody a happy 4th of July. Get out in the community. There's a lot to do in celebration of the 4th and the 250th, and that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Palacier.
Is this Commissioner comments?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, I'll be very brief. Y'all know how I always love to give those accolades when our staff is outstanding. I got a call the other day about at our landfill, a lady said she was just, or I'm sorry, he dealt with a lady out there that was just more than helpful, been very polite, and went over backwards. Sorry, no names, but if you're a female and you work at the landfill, you get an attaboy. So there you go. Also, we all got a letter from a gentleman, and I'm going to read part of that if I can understand his printing as best I can. Commissioners, I'm writing this letter to let you know of the county's the outstanding work one of your county veteran services officers, Leon Jaquette, I guess I'm saying that right. I had the good fortune of being helped by Leon when I applied for services related to disability with my VA in February of this year. I'm a retired U.S. Navy MCPO E9 with a 30-year active duty, including a tour of duty in country in Vietnam, 1970 and 71. Since I retired, I've had prostate cancer, removal of my right kidney, profound hearing loss, and with the placement of 2 pacemakers in my heart. Leon's expertise in requesting, obtaining, and submitting the necessary documentation expeditiously resulted in my appearing for the VA medical disability exam shortly after the submission. The end of the result of all the work is I am now eligible to receive medical disability payments from our VA. So our VA boys again out of the park.
Yes,
So,
sir.
just like to pass that on. And
All
that
right.
does it. I'm over with
Okay.
shortly.
So, thank you. I do want to thank the Chamber of Commerce for preparing a letter for our Dunn's Creek request for them to implement their management plan. They did send a letter based on our last meeting when we discussed it at the board. They did go ahead and approve and send a letter to DEP. Subsequently, the Board of County Commissioners has also sent a letter with copies to Representative Sapp and Senator Leak. That was sort of like a Sapp Leak word. Anyway, Representative Sapp and Senator Leak, we've sent copies to them, and we continue to push for Dunn's Creek Park to be open and implement the long-term management plan they have, which would allow overnight camping. And we believe that that would be an economic boom to the county and to the area and still be able to provide conservation. Additionally, I do want to ask Mr. Commando a question. And we briefly discussed data centers on this board back in May. And so I have been doing some research on that, and I see that there are 3 counties that have actually banned data centers or are in the process of working on them: Wakulla, Walton, and Jackson. And then in addition to that, there are some counties that are putting a moratorium on it. So what I would like to get in the future, and I think it would behoove our board, is for us to understand what steps we can take if we chose to go down that either one of those roads. One of the things that I could tell from the data center ban that those counties did, Walton, Jackson, and Wakulla, was they specifically said that because there's nothing in their plan, what am I trying to say? Comprehensive plan that specifically discusses data centers. That's how they were able to go forward with the ban. So I would like for you to maybe prepare a package or send us an email or something that says, if you want to go down this road, this is what you have to do. If you want to go down this road, this is what you have to do. Can you help us with that?
Sure. I don't know that I need to prepare a package. I can
Okay.
just explain it to you. So this is actually a public and media frenzy that has been going on based on very little to no information. I think some of it was based on the legislature's action where they have limited or they've kind of pushed some of the costs off on data centers. Then it became a fear in every county that I work in that this was coming, even though it's entirely not true. There's no applications. Even if an application were to come in, I think we talked about in the past that because it's not currently part of our comprehensive plan or something that's in our land development regulations,
Right.
we would have to work, and I would anticipate that that would come back to the board for some level of discussion or approval. As it relates to the places that have banned it, you know, I, as your legal advisor, do not advise that course of action. I think that there's a complicating intervening step with Senate Bill 180. So Senate Bill 180, as I think y'all recall, and we'll probably talk about at the FAC conference, has limited what local governments and counties can do as far as making any sort of aspect of their comprehensive plan or of their land development code or land development regulations more restrictive or burdensome. And what it does is it creates a legal cause of action for a property owner where if we do take that step, they can sue, they can win, and they will get attorney's fees. So based upon that legislation, which does not sunset until June 30th of 2028, I don't believe I would expect that a landowner would tell all of us that a ban is more burdensome or restrictive. So based on that, I am continuing to do some research. I was speaking to a commissioner this morning that Clay County they're on their first reading. They have their second reading come up. I don't know if they have a first meeting in July, whatever their next meeting is. And they are looking at imposing a moratorium to do a study. I'm not confident that that doesn't violate Senate Bill 180, but that's kind of where my legal research is at this point. So at the point where I come up with a kind of final opinion, I'll be more than happy to share that with each of y'all.
Well, I appreciate that. I would like some more research done on this because while Senate Bill 180 exists, Senate Bill 484 also exists, which preserves local authority over zoning, permitting, and land use, allows local governments to adopt stricter standards, and allows local governments to deny projects. So I think that you're right, we will have some discussion, and it doesn't clearly, the two seem to, they conflict, in my opinion. And so I think that's the problem. And so anyway, I'd just like for us to have as much knowledge about this subject as we move forward, because as counties start putting moratoriums or banning them and we don't join into that, then we become one of the only counties left to come to. And that's my concern.
And that's something that I've heard a number of times, and actually there's most counties that aren't. I mean, more than 60 of them haven't, because they're trying to navigate the legal framework of what we're allowed to do. So at this point, my understanding is a lot of the public outcry deals with energy consumption as well as water consumption. Not that I would encourage this to come in any of the counties or areas that I live or work, but the water consumption is actually a false narrative, a red herring at this point, because the newest versions of data centers operate off of a controlled closed loop for cooling. The way I've heard it explained is like a radiator, so they're not actually using consumptive water like the original data centers are. I think the sentiment in Florida is that we don't want it here. There was actually an article yesterday morning which says that Florida's going to lose billions of dollars because these data centers are going to go offshore in space to another state. There's just a lot of discussion there. I will be absolutely shocked if it doesn't come up at the conference as far as one of the hot topics that counties across the state are having to deal with.
Yes. Okay. Commissioner Alexander, you're recognized.
Yeah. So any of the land use changes and such regarding a data center will have to come before us for a vote. Okay. So in that I feel some solace. But as far as the technology, the documents that I have read, the closed loop cooling system is somewhat limited in its capacity, so that it doesn't really hold true for the mega data centers. So that's still an emerging technology based on what I've read and what I've learned. At this point, I would say that if it's going to be a detriment to our community and impact it in anything other than a positive fashion, I would be against that. We have some unique opportunities in Putnam County that maybe some folks aren't aware of, but that would be for a discussion for another day. But at this point, we still reserve the right to negate or deny any zoning changes for data center, correct?
That would be my opinion, because it's not permitted by right in any zoning classification right now. So we would work with our planning department, and if something like that did come in, it would come back before you. But something that I believe you'll all have to deal with is there's a website out in the world somewhere that talks about where these data centers are. And the website that shows them also shows rooms that are literally 400 square feet that are switch servers for Verizon. So the definition of even what a data center is not the same as the mega data centers.
Correct.
When you look at like a courthouse or our IT department, we would probably qualify under some of the definitions as to what a data center is. So not every one of those is bad. It's something that takes a drain on everything from our physical and natural resources, or a drain on the economy for our citizens that we want to watch out for.
Exactly.
Well, I know that I didn't give staff a heads up I was going to talk about this. So I'm throwing it all out, and y'all are just getting it. But I do want to, we certainly have more to learn on this subject matter. I do want to wish everybody a 4th of July, happy 4th of July, and please recognize our 250th anniversary of our country. This only comes once, right? So anyway, enjoy your holiday weekend and have a safe one, and we will see you on July 14th.
Stay safe.
Stay safe. This meeting is adjourned.